mouse ears, weighing in at a hefty 16 tons. In case you're wondering, that's a hat size of 342 and 3/8. Also on the right is one of our larger prop storage areas known as the motor pool. The two futuristic-looking cars were used in Blade Runner, starring Harrison Ford. The red Coyote is from the television show Hardcastle McCormick, and the black classic car with green spokes was used in The Untouchables, starring Kevin Costner and Sean Connery. Just around the bend, you'll see a string of about 10 colorful vintage cars, some of them with bullet holes. They were all used in last summer's hit Dick Tracy. And across the street, we have the Bungalows, which house production team's currently filming here at the studios. Right now, though, we're entering a small branch of our greens department. This is where we store used plants, trees, and shrubs until they're needed on the set. Greenery is often used to hide what the camera and you and I are not supposed to see. For example, we might use a row of those tall trees to hide the fact that only a portion of a set has been built. And notice that all the plants are grown in portable boxes. That's so they can be easily transported to and from the set. If we use any of these plants that are used in a scene that's shot on a soundstage, we have to carefully fireproof each branch, twig, and leaf due to the heat created by the set lights. And if a director needs a 30-foot flower stem, we even have one of those. That unique prop was actually used in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Those unique sculptured figures are called topiaries. They can take up to 10 years to develop. We've got about 160 of them throughout Walt Disney World. We're now entering one of our more glamorous departments, creative costuming. And costuming, it all starts with the designer sketches, some of which you'll see inside on the far wall. Then our tailors and seamstresses take over. They use over 175,000 yards of fabric each year to produce over 12,000 garments. More than 180 artists design and manufacture the costumes for our motion picture, television, and entertainment needs. We slow down here so you can get a good look at this department. Watch out your left for the upcoming displays. As we pass through, you'll see the original costumes worn by Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman, Warren Beatty and Madonna and Dick Tracy, Julie Andrews and Mary Poppins, and Michael Jackson and Captain EO, and the human co-stars and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Here in Orlando, we're proud to say that we have the world's largest working wardrobe with over 2.5 million garments. And just past costuming, you'll see our lighting department, which can provide up to 3.5 million watts of light for video and film production. We've been told that's enough power to illuminate the entire city of Orlando. Next is the Dick Tracy Makeup Shop. Featured in this showcase are the masks and appliances used to transform actors such as Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman into comic book criminals for the film Dick Tracy. Adjacent to the makeup shop, we have our camera department, and off to your right is a very special Delta El Canada, which has been modified for use in video and film production. When not in storage here in its custom-built hangar, this full-size aircraft can usually be found on one of our sound stages, providing a very realistic set. In fact, it was used for last summer's Quick Change, starring Bill Murray. And the last door we're going to pass by is back on your left. That's the scenic shop. This is where carpenters construct and maintain the sets that are used on location. A set that gets used over and over is known in the business as a standing set. A standing set can be simple as a bedroom or as elaborate as an entire house. In just a minute, we're going to take a look at some very unusual houses. But first, as we exit our scenic department, off to your left, you're going to see a guard shack for a place called Sterling Industries. This was used for a few scenes for the sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's going to be titled Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. Rick Moranis was here just a couple of weeks ago as a film act. So just remember this scene here, and you'll see it in Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. That'll be out next summer. Now, when film crews travel to cities and towns to shoot on location, they often have to deal with things they have little or no control over. Things like crowds, traffic, and noise. To get around these problems, they often prefer to shoot here on a studio backlot. This section of our backlot we're now going into is called Residential Street. A lot of people tell me they'd love to come and live here at Disney World. Before you pack your bags and move in, check out this first house on your right. You'll notice something very odd. Every house on the street is actually a facade or false front. In fact, the sign out front says it all. Open house. There are no insides or backs to any of these homes. With a different sketch call for different neighborhoods, every house on the street reflects a different style of American architecture. You might use that first house, the Pennsylvania Dutch, for a winter holiday scene. In fact, we had a production crew trim with color lights and bring in some pine trees, laid on 50 tons of shaved ice and plastic to create man-made snow. The result was a white Christmas in July, right here in Florida. Parked in the carport to your left is the actual 1963 Cadillac from the film Tin Man, starring Richard Dreyfuss and Danny DeVito. Most of these homes have been used for some sort of television show, movie, or commercial. Does anybody recognize this beige Hawaiian-style house coming up second on your left? That's home to the Emmy Award-winning Golden Girls, starring Rue McClanahan, Estelle Getty, Dee Arthur, and Betty White. The exterior shots of the Golden Girls are all filmed right here. They're then edited together with interior footage shot on a soundstage in California. The result is a finished show you see Saturday nights on television. Once the house had been selected for a shoot, set designers had props and dressings to give the house a lived-in look. So they did to the last house on Residential Street. They added a doghouse, toys out front. They even threw a couple of frisbees on the roof. All those details tell you a little bit more about the family that really doesn't live there. Coming up on the right, you'll see a 30-foot bulldog smoking a pipe. That's the Bulldog Cafe. It was used for a summer movie called The Rocketeer. The GB Flyer parked outside is also from The Rocketeer. It's not a real plane though, just a full-size prop, never designed to actually get off the ground. And to your left at the end of Residential Street, you'll see a small-town country church. Keep an eye on the church as we turn the corner. It's going to turn into a big city cathedral. And that's appropriate enough since we've also reached the end of New York Street. And that is where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles make an appearance from time to time. So if you want to meet them in person later, just check your show schedules for the next time they'll be out. We're now entering one of our boneyards. A lot bigger than the motor pool, the boneyards will restore used planes, trains, jeeps, trucks, boats, even spaceships till they're needed for production. This black speedboat on your right is from the Walt Disney television show, The 100 Lives of Blackjack Savage. Modeled after an SR-71 Blackbird spy plane, it's been clocked at speeds of over 70 miles an hour. The blue helicopter cockpit is from Blue Thunder, starring Roy Scheider. And up just a little bit further, you'll see a gray tail section of a plane. That's part of the plane that was used for the goodbye scene of the 1942 classic Casablanca, starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. If you want to check out the front half of that plane, you may want to visit the great movie ride. These three blue Plymouths coming up on your right were all used by Bob Hoskins as Detective Eddie Valiant when he entered Toontown and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Notice that each of those cars is in a different stage of destruction. The orange trolley is also from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's actually a bus disguised to look like a trolley. Take a close look at the trolley steel wheels, you'll notice they're actually fiberglass coverings, cleverly hiding the bus's tires. Now we have two of the silver space pods from the 1986 film Flight of the Navigator. Just past that, you'll see some big colorful gears. They were used for the final scenes of Dick Tracy. And if you take a look across the canal right now, you'll be able to get a real backstage view of Residential Street. Notice how the architectural details on those homes, even the shingles on the rooftops, stop just beyond camera range. That's because here in the back lot, we only build what the camera needs to see. But what if the camera needs to see something that isn't there? What if we need an environment you can't find here in Florida? For example, here in Florida, you would never find an active oil field in a rocky barren desert canyon. So when the studios are built, we decided to include one here in the back lot. We call it Catastrophe Canyon, and we're just about to go in. Since you will be getting to experience some very exciting special effects, I'd like to recommend at this point that you keep a firm grip on any loose items you may be carrying, like purses, cameras, and small children. Also remain seated at all times, please. This set was modeled after an actual canyon in California, and it took 6 months to build. That may seem like a long time for one set, but with all the great special effects we have in here, I think you'll see it was well worth the effort. And we'll stop over here in just a second. I'll let you in on some of the secrets that went into putting this set together. That tanker truck up there is a good example of a large-scale prop, like the ones you might store out in the boneyard. Doesn't look too good, but it runs great. And it wasn't easy getting it in here. We couldn't just drive it in. It had to be hoisted up over the canyon walls and lowered into place with a crane. And we can't recreate just about anything here in the back lot, even the weather. For example, in some productions, a script may call for a real downpour. But since time is money in movie making, we can't just wait around for Mother Nature. So when those cameras are ready to roll, that rain has got to be ready to fall. There we go. The solution's created with help on high-powered rain stops located overhead just out of the camera range. Nozzles on the end of the stop spray the water outward to give it a natural look as it falls. And notice water is only being sprayed out about 20 feet. That's enough to fool the camera into thinking it's raining everywhere. There we go, that should be Scene 1. Is that the earthquake scene? That is the earthquake scene. Hang on, everybody. sake. Oh, thanks. I think that last one came out so strong. Well, now you've probably figured out why we call this place Catastrophe Canyon. So now let's get out of here. We'll take a look behind the scenes to see just how those catastrophes are created. Are we ready, Julie? That's mom work. Behind you're going to see that the canyon itself is actually a steel structure that's been covered with wire mesh. It's been covered with wire mesh with a layer of colored cement and hand composites to make it look like natural rock formation. The little yellow pipes don't carry the natural gas for the fire explosions, but the large white pipes carry the water for the flash flood. That flood was created when we opened the gates to 3 holding tanks at the top of the canyon that sent 70,000 gallons of water thundering towards our shuttle. And a little more action to the scene, some of the water was blown down the canyon with high-powered air cannons. These air cannons are so powerful that if we took one to New York City and stuffed a basketball in it, we could shoot that basketball over the top of the Empire State Building. And the earthquake you felt was created by large hydraulic shaker tables located underneath the bridge. They're so strong that if we turn them up all the way, we could throw a small car over the railing and into the base of the canyon. So it was created with the help of a Hollywood special effects team. What seemed like an out-of-control disaster was actually a very safe computer-run sequence of events. In fact, this whole scene can be reset in about 3.5 minutes. Normally, that's just enough time for the next shuttle load of victims. Sweet visitors and visitors. And we're going to go from the canyons of California to the streets of New York in just about a minute. And you'll get another look at the boneyard. That'll be coming up on your left. So just hang on for about a minute. I'll be back with you. Enjoy that breeze. In just a second, we'll be back on our very own New York Street. After making a turn, if you take a look off towards your right towards the front of the shuttle, you can see the back of the structures that keep New York Street standing. These facades have been designed with Florida weather in mind and can withstand hurricane-level winds of up to 90 miles an hour. That may not seem like much since the outside looks like it's made of brick and stone, but it's actually mostly wood, fiberglass, and styrofoam. They've been covered with just a thin layer of cement to give them the proper look and texture. Go ahead and knock on those buildings later, you'll see that they're actually quite hollow. And as we come behind the archway, take a look off to your right, you're going to see our very own New York City skyline right here in Orlando. That's an old movie trick known as forced perspective. Those skyscrapers just painted flats about 2.5 inches thick, about 1.5 blocks away. While the real Empire State Building's over 100 stories tall. That's just a little over 4. And looks like the turtles are just about to wrap up their appearance. Again, if you want to meet them in person later, just check your show schedules for the next time they'll be out on New York Street. And we're now entering our loading area. After exiting, if you follow Roger Rabbit's big footsteps through the loading bin, you can take a stroll down New York Street, stop for a snack at the Studio Catering Company, or continue on to the rest of the site here at the Disney MGM Studios. Once again, our driver's name is Julie. My name's Rob.